हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणि चारण्यं शेषण्यवरपश्चात्तदेशतारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तम्। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम. So interestingly, we are also just last two verses of this chapter remaining for purpose reading. And I just wanted to share a few things, but I'll just read these two translations and purpose. Understanding that he was remembered by Lord Krishna while quitting this world, Vidra began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by ecstasy of love. Opposite, Vidra was overwhelmed by ecstasy of love when he understood that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, had thought of him at the last moment. Although Vizra thought of himself as insignificant, he was remembered by the Lord by his causeless mercy. Vidra accepted this as a great favor, and thus he cried. This crying is the last word in the progress path of devotional service. So, one who cries for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service. After passing a few days on the bank of river Amrit, Vidra the self-realized so reached the bank of Ganges, where the great sage Maitra was situated. This sloka, this fifth chapter is nice, interesting, and we have some few things to discuss. Lord is manifesting everywhere. Only we should have the vision to see Him. We should learn, develop that vision. That is what is taught in Bhagavad Gita. Mm, when Krishna is giving Vibhuti Yoga. Basically, the point is what? When Krishna came to Duryodhana, Duryodhana tried to bind Krishna and imprison him. And same thing, Yashodamai also tried to bind Krishna, but Krishna was bound by Yashodamai because he can be bound only by love. Now, the point is, after that, Krishna, it's such a ridiculous thing, and Krishna shows his universal form that time. And what Duryodhana thinks that this person is showing some mistake because Krishna showed universal form and he showed I am pervade everywhere. I am everywhere. I am seeing everything is in me. But Duryodhana did not understand only. He said, "Oh, he's just showing some sort of what to say mystic powers. So many mystics I have seen, and this fellow is also showing." So this is the point. The point is, even Krishna is pervade all. He's showing his power and potency all the time, everywhere. Because of false pride, he is not able to see. He could not see. Similarly, to the degree we have false ego, to the degree we cannot appreciate and experience Krishna in this world. Not that Krishna is not there, he is present everywhere, he can be seen all the time. But the problem is our false ego. If we are able to uh, overcome our false ego, then it becomes very easy to see Krishna all the time. This is the point. The sages could see and the Dhritarashtra, everybody saw, they all understood, they offered prayers, but Duryodhana was not impressed. So the blocking is not somewhere outside. Now we say that people they get affected by evil spirits, ghosts, and all these things. Why they get affected? And people go to different places to get rid of this evil spirits who haunted them and all. Now something is coming and sticking. There should be some other counterpart. There should to stick. There should be something is there. Like say, if uh, if we have this board, so you have a pin, and you can pierce the board and you can stick to keep the notice board right. Now, if you don't have a that soft board on a wall, you cannot put the pin. You cannot put the your poster or anything on a wall. In the notice board in the schools and colleges and temples we have, right? Offices. Now the sticking should be there. Similarly, Maya is sticking to us, or this whatever is sticking to us because there is some problem within our heart. That's why it is sticking. What is that? Is that is false ego. There is some contamination. The ghosts and all, somebody is haunted. The only reason they can be haunted is there is some problem in their heart. If that is not there, no ghost can haunt anyone. It is not possible for it because there is nothing to stick there. You are understanding? So similarly, with it comes to the false ego, that is what is bringing all other things which are holding us in this material world. Krishna is responsible of all the things that are happening. That, but he's telling Daiviyesha Gunamayi Mamamaya Duratya. So this is very important to understand that I have something which is not supposed to be there in my heart, which is making me hold on to Maya. Maya is holding me, otherwise it is Krishna is still not possible. But Mamevaye Prapadyanti. If you surrender to Krishna, Krishna says yes, then you can come out of it. That means heart is getting pure. So this is the point. So means it starts actually from our understanding I am servant of Krishna. That surrender is needed. Otherwise it is not possible. We need to accept that I am servant of Krishna. We need to work on our ego first. That I am servant. Thus, once we start with this, slowly, slowly Krishna is manifesting. He's there. We will be able to see. And this is actually what is the training we need through Bhagavatam. And this is how the devotees of Bhagavatam, they are able to see they have feeling the presence of Krishna. But now they also feel separation, but they can see his presence, but they want to see directly also. This is indirect presence. And that reminds them the direct presence. That's why they become more um, uh, most of the people most of the time when the devotees they see this world, they feel separation from Krishna because they are reminded about him, personal presence. For normal people, they don't feel separation because it is not reminding them of Krishna. They are not able to see. Otherwise, somebody who is a devotee, any direction is his. So, sarvatra hoye ishtadeva spurti. Everywhere he can see his ishtadevan. That is the advantage. दुर्वेद्य श्रीसुकोवाच धूर्वेद्युनन्द्या ऋषभः कुरूणाम् मृत्येमासीन अगाधबोधम् क्षत्तोपसृष्ट्याच्युतभावसिद्ध प्रपच्यशु शौशील्यगुणाभितृप्तः. Sudhir Goswami said, Vidura, the best among the Kuru dynasty, who was perfect in devotional service to the Lord, thus he is the source of celestial Ganges river, Haridwar, where Maitreya, the great fathomless learned sage of the world, was seated. Vidura, who was perfect in gentleness and satisfied in transcendence, inquired from him. Purport. Vidura was already perfect due to his unalloyed devotion to the infallible Lord. The Lord and the living entities are all qualitatively the same by nature, but the Lord is quantitatively much greater than any individual living entity. He is ever infallible, whereas the living entities are prone to fall under the illusory energy. Vidura had already surpassed the fallible nature of the living entity in conditional life due to his being Achyuta Bhava, or legitimately absorbed in devotional service of the Lord. This stage of life is called Achyuta Bhava Siddha, a perfection by dint of devotional service. Anyone, therefore, who is absorbed in devotional service of the Lord is a liberated soul and has all admirable qualities. The learned sage Maitreya was sitting in solitary place on the bank of Ganges at Haridwar. And Vidra, who was perfect devotee of the Lord and possessed all good transcendental qualities, approached him for inquiry. Not that they all the time they preach. Some of the devotees they just like to serve the Lord through meditation and their own devotional practice. And somebody goes to them, they will enlighten. Either Maitreya is not going around for preaching. He is happy in his own bhajan. This is a very higher stage because for them in the Paramahamsa stage everybody looks like devotee. So they feel there is no need of preaching only. So many of our acharyas they are like Babajis. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Jagannath Das Babaji. They are Babajis. So they have this high, very highest realizations of Krishna and they are in a very high stage. They did not go for preaching, but their preaching is their own example. They didn't write books, they don't go for pravachan, but they are very exalted. So it is not that somebody is not preaching. Of course, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, Pran het se hetu, pran hai se hetu prachar. There is life and there is preaching. Their preaching is different. Their chanting itself is preaching. So this is a very important shloka. Vidravvacha sukhaya karmani karoti loko natai sukham vanya uparamam va vindeta bhuyastataiva dukkam yadartayuktam bhagavan vadenaha. There are sort of great say everyone in this world engage in fruitive activities to attain happiness, but no one finds neither situation nor the mitigation of distress. On the contrary, one is only aggravated by such activities. Please therefore give us direction on how one should live for real happiness. So this is a very nice question he asks. So as soon as he met Maitreya, he started his inquiry, and this is such a nice inquiry. So Sukhaya Karmani Karoti Lokam. Everybody is trying to attain happiness, but Natah Sukham va Anyat Uparhatam va. But no one finds neither satiation nor mitigation of distress. Sorry, neither satiation nor mitigation of distress. So both are not happening for people. Like we say, oh, they're rich people. That means they must be happy. If they're happy, then they need not work. But still, they're working. They're trying to change the situation. That means they are not satiated. They are also working on mitigation of distress, and this happens to many people. There is always distress. This material world is like that. The degree may vary. They may not have distress with money, but they have distress with something else. It is not possible only. If they have done so much of pious activities because of the credit, they enjoy for some time. But Kshine Punya Mritaloka Vishanti. So the credit also goes away after some time. So it is not something very permanent that stays. Means I can earn and spend. But after complete my spending, again I have to earn. I cannot just keep on spending, spending, spending. I need to parallelly earn also. That is what is the distress. Where is the distress for rich people is they have to maintain the status. They have to maintain the thing which they have. So that is the distress for them. Like we don't want to work very hard. We will just all the time if there is an opportunity to enjoy, living entity will be very happy. But that is not possible only. Even in heaven also, they do it continuously. There is only enjoyment. There is no hard work in heaven. No need of going job and so no IT jobs, no school colleges. But what is the problem? The credit is getting exhausted slowly, slowly. And once it is becoming less and less, there is so much distress because again you have to come to there and again earn the credits to again go back there. So that is the problem. People may perform so many Ashwamedha yajnas and charity, this, that, so that they can reach that place. But the point is we have to come back, right? So that is such a great distress. And more we have enjoyed again to come back and again now somebody says, okay, now we have to again go to college and study. It's so distressing. We may say, oh, college life I enjoyed, but it is not true because there were so many exams, there were so many assignments, projects. It was quite painful. Same thing in the school also. In school, we were there. I was thinking we should go to college. Maybe that will make me happy because now no freedom. And school life, people say, oh, it was so nice, but it is not true. If I remember my school, yeah, you have homeworks, you always have to go to tuition, and you have to write exams. Compared to now, it is better, but it is not actually happy state also. It is also distress. College is also distress, job is distress sometimes, and family life, no need to mention. So the point is what we need to understand. This is a very important understanding. Sukhaya karmani karotu loka. Everybody is trying for happiness, but natah sukham va anyat uparatam va. So, but in this, but natah, by these activities, sukham va anyat, definitely up- uparamam, saturation va vindate bhuyaha. On the contrary of such activities, eva certainly dukkham. Their distress is also not coming down. So under these circumstances, yadartha yuktam bhagavan vadenaha. So in this situation, what to do? So nice question, right? And trying to be happy does not work. Dukkaushadam tadapi dukkham ataddiya. Even Prahlad also says the same thing. Right? You don't try to solve the problems of your life because the solution of the problems becomes a greater problem. So why such a situation? Very right. I work very hard to come out of it, but end up in creating much more trouble for myself. So what is this situation and how to understand? This is a question of Vidra. So we have to hear what Maitreya says. But we'll try to understand. See, first, what is important is to know the problem statement. This is where the people make mistake. They don't have a proper problem statement in their life. They know there is problem, but they don't know why there is problem. They don't know this proper understanding. So that's why they are not able to get the solution also. Like say if my car has some issues, the first thing I need, or if I health has some issues, first thing what is needed is diagnose. You have to first identify the problem. So many times what happens with the doctors is they have to do so much tests and all this scanning, this, that, to just to identify the problem. Now if you identify, then to cure is little more easier. But that identity, how to know what problem the body has, they just go by the symptoms. Okay, because he is sneezing so much, maybe he has some problem with his lungs. Because he is having these ulcers, there can be many reasons, because of indigestion, because of excess heat, because of so many other things. Now what exactly is, they have to diagnose. Once we diagnose, then it becomes easy to solve it, right? Now here the same thing, what is the real problem, people don't understand only. That's why they are not able to solve. Sukhaya karmani karotilo natah sukham vanyat uparamam va. So they are trying, but it is not working. So what to do? This is the important question. Prabhupada writes, Vidra asked some common questions which Vidra asked Maitreya some common questions which Vidra did not originally intend to ask. Uddhava asked Vidra to approach Maitreya, inquire into all the truths connecting the Lord, his name, fame, qualities, form, pastimes, entourage, etc. And thus, when Vidra approached Maitreya, he should have asked about the Lord. But the question is sometimes people know the problem but they don't accept. They actually did not understand also clearly. That is another. Yeah, they didn't accept means they didn't understand the problem because of so much tamoguna. What is the problem in this world is people in tamoguna, they cannot understand the problem only. They think everything is fine. Like say people in tamoguna, like boys hostels. Most of the hostels will be dirty, and they feel it's normal only. What is there so? There will be one good boy who cleans the room. They are staying two, three of them. If they are single, the room will remain for months together. If they don't have cleaning boys for the hostel, some hostels don't have. They have to clean them. Months together, it is like that, and they feel it's okay. If they ask, "Are your room is dirty?" They say, "Yeah, it is dirty," but it does not affect them. Why? because it is full tamoguna. So the point is what the tamoguna makes people not. They may say that they say yeah there is a problem, but they don't really understand it because of so much ignorance, and most of the people are in full of ignorance. Very few people awaken, and Maya makes sure that everybody sleeps nicely. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming and giving this knowledge and telling, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Please wake up, sleeping souls, wake up. So the point is, we have to wake up. Wake up to what? Wake up from ignorance. And this side of questions and all will are basically showing this is what we should wake up. Atato Brahma Jignas. Atato means therefore inquire. What is therefore? Therefore, what is means? That means you are already suffering. So that means you are natah sukham vanyat uparamam va vindeta bhuyastat eva dukkham. This is what is atah. That means you have realized that I am suffering. Then only person starts inquiring. Otherwise, there is no question. They feel people say, yeah, they understand first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, but they don't want second onwards. First chapter is this world is a world of travel, and many people make statement, but very few are ready to realize it, understand. So interestingly, my Vidra is asking Maitreya this question about how exactly is this solution for it. And now Prabhupada is writing nice purport. He says that he should have asked about the Lord, but out of natural immunity, he did not immediately ask about the Lord, but inquired into the subjects which would be great importance to the common man. A common man cannot understand the Lord. He must first know the real position of his life under the influence of illusory energy. This is the point. Completely got up in the illusory energy, cannot understand. In illusion, one thinks that he can be happy only by fruitive activity. But what actually happens is that one becomes more and more entangled in the network of actions and reactions that does not find any solution to the problem of life. There's a nice song in this connection. Because of a great desire to have all happiness in life, I built this house, but unfortunately the whole scheme has turned to ashes because the house was unexpectedly set to on fire. Otherwise, the laws of nature is like that. Everyone tries to become happy, but planning in the material world, but the law of nature is so cruel that it sets fire to one's schemes. The fruit worker is not happy in these schemes, nor is there any situation of his continuous hankering for happiness. So this is actually what happens to next shloka is also very important. Janasya Krishna Dvimukasya Daivat Adharmasilasya Sudukkitasya Anugrahayeha Charanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. He says, O my Lord, great philanthropic souls travel on the earth on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to show compassion to the fallen souls who are averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord. That means they are not ready to surrender. So this is a very important. Janasya Krishna Vimukasya Dhaiva. So what is the situation of the general mass of people? Vimukasya Dhaiva. Completely. Adharma Shilasya Sudukhitasya. And what they do? Adharma Shilasya. Engage in illicit activities Sudukhitasya. And always remain unhappy. This is in general the situation of people whom we are seeing around. Then in everybody whom we see, all the people, 99.9% of the people are like this only. Janasya Krishna Vimukasya. They are not interested in Krishna. They go to temple, but they are interested in themselves. Even if people going to temple also, are they going for the Lord or themselves? Themselves. So that means they are not interested in Lord. They are just any religious activities. They are all selfish people only. That means Vimukasya Dhaiva. They are not interested. What they are interested in is uh, their own indriyatva, their own sense gratification. And because of this, what happens is they adharma shilasya dukkitasya. Now we may say, oh, no, no, they are so religious. They go to temple regularly. They chant Vishnu Sahasranam also. and they do all sorts of pujas and everything at home. But it does not. It's all selfishness. That is not correct. They are not doing bhakti. They are doing some religious activities, some karma they are doing. Even karma also not proper karma. So anugrahaye charanti nunam bhutani bhavyani janardana. So now you like Maitra, you travel around for what? Anugrahaye. So to show compassion. Charanti nunam. Charanti means you travel, wander. Nunam, certainly. So bhutani bhavyani. So great philanthropist and about the supreme personality of God. So this is a very nice shloka to memorize. These two shlokas. This first shloka is Sukhaya Karmani Karoti Loko Natasukam Vanyadparamamba Vindeta Bhuyas Tataeva Dukham Edartha Yuktam Bhagavan Vadenaha. And this shloka Janasya Krishna Vimukasya Daivat Adharmasilasya Chasya Dukkitasya Anugrahaye Charanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. So this is nice thing that is explained here. And Prabhupada says, to be obedient to the wishes of Supreme Lord is the natural position of every living entity. But due only to past misdeeds, a living being becomes averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord and suffers all miseries of material existence. So, what is expected is that we need to surrender. Sarva dharman paritidya mamekam sharanam. And Arjuna also says, Shishyasteyam swan. This is a principle. Now, people want to become God, many of the Mayavadis. When it is said that Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. The translation for this they give is after Bahunam Janmanam, you become Vasudeva. So this is how they translate. So this is so much is there not to surrender to the Lord. They say, what is there to surrender? I am only Supreme Lord. Just after few lifetimes I will realize this. But to be obedient to the wishes is the natural position of the living entity. Because to the degree a person is perform misdeeds, to the degree and then living being averse to the sense of subordination to the Lord. Pretty a nice point. And suffers all miseries of it. No one has anything to do but render devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Therefore, any activity other than transcendental loving service to Lord is more or less a religious action against the Supreme will. So, this is any activity other than transcendental service is against the will of Lord. That's why it is called this is sinful activity. What is sin is something which we are doing for our own. I like, I don't like. That is sin. Now, very important point this is any activities against all fruitive activities, empirical philosophies, and mysticism are more or less against the sense of subordination to the Lord and any living entity. So, any fruitive activities, empirical philosophy, mystic activities, that means jnana, karma, and yoga, are more or less against the sense of subordination. They are independently trying to do it. And any living entity engaged in such rebellious activities more or less condemned by the laws of material nature, which work under the subordination of the Lord. Great unalloyed devotees of Lord are compassionate towards the fallen souls, and therefore they travel all over the world with the mission of bringing them back to Godhead, back home, back to God. Such pure devotees of Lord carry the message of God in order to deliver the fallen souls, and therefore the common man who is bewildered by the influence of external energy of Lord should avail himself to their association. Simple. तत्साधुवर्यादिशवत्नसंन सम्रादितो भगवान् येन पुंसा हृदि स्थितो यच्छति भक्तिर्भूते Jnanam cha sattvaadigamam puranam. Says that, therefore, O great sage, please give me instructions on the transcendental devotional service of Lord, so that he who is situated in the heart of everyone will be pleased to impart from within knowledge of absolute truth in terms of ancient Vedic principles, delivered only to those who are purified by the process of devotional service. This is very important. You give the instruction on what he wanted instruction on a devotional service. For what? Uh, so that he, about the Lord who is situated, will be pleased to impart from within knowledge of the absolute truth. This is actually what we want. The Lord inside, he is going to be very pleased. He gives Divya Jnana, Hidaya Prakasika. And Prabhupada says, as already explained in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, absolute truth is realized in three different phases. Although they are one, the same in terms of knowledge, knower's capacity to understand. The most capable transcendentalist is the Lord's pure devotee, who is without any tinge of root actions or philosophical speculation. Only by devotional service does one's heart becomes completely purified from all material coverings like karma, jnana, and yoga. Only to a devotee in such a purified stage does the Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, with the individual soul, gives instructions so that the devotee can reach the ultimate destination of going back home, back to God. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satatittanam bhajatam pritpurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam enamam upayanti. So Krishna in the heart he gives. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. This is very, very important. That we have to please the Lord by our services, and knowledge and detachment both comes on its own. No need to separately try, no need to separately gain knowledge for us. Our knowledge is how much we need to the we need only that much knowledge which will make us do nice chanting. After that everything will be taken care. Now, what is our attempt to read Bhagavatam is to glorify the Lord and understand Him. And by doing this activity, we are pleasing Him. And that Krishna will give knowledge to us. It is revealed, it's not theory. Now we know Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but that realization, directly seeing Krishna as Supreme Lord like Arjuna saw, that will come by Krishna's mercy. Jnanis, karmis, yogis cannot expect this direct cooperation of the Lord. They are not able to satisfy the Lord by transcendental loving service, nor do they believe in such service to the Lord. The bhakti process, as performed under the regulative principles of Vaidhi bhakti or devotional service, following the prescribed rules and regulations, is defined by the revealed scriptures and confirmed by great acharyas. This practice can help the neophyte devotee to raise stage of Raga Bhakti, in which the Lord responds from within as a Chaitya Guru or the spiritual master of super consciousness. All transcendentalists other than devotee make no distinction between the individual soul and super soul because they miscalculate the super consciousness and individual consciousness to be one and the same. Such miscalculation of non-devotees make them unfit to receive any direction from within, and therefore they are bereft of the direct cooperation of Lord. This is very nice. If the Lord is there in the heart as Paramatma, He is not giving only any knowledge to them. After many, many births, when such a non-dualist come to understand that the Lord is worshipable and then the devotee is simultaneously one with and different from the Lord, only then can he surrender unto the Lord. Vasudeva. Pure devotional service began from this point. The process of understanding absolute truth adopted by the misguided non-dualist is very difficult, whereas devotee's way of understanding the absolute truth comes directly from the Lord, who is pleased by devotional service. On behalf of many neophyte devotees, whether at the very first instance, inquire from Maitreya about the path of devotional service by which the Lord who is seated within the heart can be pleased. So this is a very nice sloka. We'll just take one purport. करोति कर्माणि कृतावतारो यान्यात्मतन्त्रो भगवान् श्रयादिशः यथा ससर्जाग्र इदं निरीह संस्तप संस्थापय उत्तिमजगतो विद्धत्त. O great sage, kindly narrate how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the independent, desireless Lord of the three worlds and the control of all energies, accepts incarnations and creates the cosmic manifestation with perfectly arranged regulative principles for his maintenance. Purport. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead from whom the three creative incarnations, namely the Purusha avatars, Karadaksha Vishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, expand. The whole material creation is connected to three Purusha in successive stages under the external energy of the Lord, and thus material and nature is controlled by him. Thinking material nature to be independent of Lord, seeing taking milk from the nipple bags of the nectar of God. So, where when Apashyam Purusham Purnam Mayam cha Dapashre. Vyasdev saw the Supreme Lord, and along with that he saw Maya also, who is completely under control of Krishna. That is the point. So the Lord is independent and desireless. He does not create the material world for his own destruction, but as we create our household efforts to fulfill our material desires. Actually, the material world is created for the illusory enjoyment of the conditioned souls who have been against the transcendental service of the Lord since time immemorial. But the material universe are full of themselves. There are no scarcity for maintenance in the material world. Because of their poor fund of knowledge, the materialists are disturbed when there is an apparent increase of population on the earth. Whether there is a living being on earth, however, his subsistence is immediately arranged by the Lord. The other species of living entities who far outnumber human society are never disturbed for maintenance. They are never seen dying of starvation. It is only human society that is disturbed about food starvation, food situation, and can cover up the real fact of administrative mismanagement, take shelter in the plea that the population is excessively increasing. If there is any scarcity in the world, it is the scarcity of God consciousness. Otherwise, by the grace of Lord, there is no scarcity of anything. Thank you very much. We'll end here.